Welcome to the Industry Insider Session panel, the top 5 services to leverage for your recruiting toolbox. Today, my colleagues and I are going to talk to you about how CDLLife is working hard to provide you with data and tools at your fingertips with our client portal. We'll outline resources and services to help you streamline your recruiting campaigns with the job editor and the company landing pages. And you'll get an inside glance at our workflow when we create, strategize, and optimize your lead generation campaigns. So I will get us started with getting to know the client portal. My name's Mary, and my role at CDLLife as a digital media strategist involves managing my clients' lead generation campaigns and working alongside them to achieve their recruiting goals. The client portal makes this partnership very easy. It's a hub for my clients to measure, view, and access all of the information about their campaigns in one convenient place. We strive for a high level of transparency and ease of information sharing with our clients. And while there are many great features in the portal, today I'm going to walk through 5 high-impact ones that we want you to be aware of. I also want to mention that this information sharing process with our clients is exactly how we're able to get better. The portal has become an ever-evolving and even more useful tool for our clients to leverage since we set out to create it. So the first one is the driver lookup tool. Here you can query our audience data to see how many drivers match your unique requirements in a target area. Not only that, but this information helps paint a picture for the complexity of certain jobs. For example, we can understand how job A with 800 available drivers might be a more difficult job than job B with 14,000 available drivers before we even run budget to those jobs. From there, this data can help inform budget strategy in the overall campaign and even aid in research for business development for certain markets you may need to start advertising in. Using this tool leverages the power of our audience database for many uses beyond just sending a text blast. The next one is job allocations. So on this page, you can set priority levels per job based on your recruiting needs. You can adjust the budget allocations per job, and you can easily shift this at any point throughout your campaign based on your changing needs. From a performance standpoint, as a digital media strategist managing a campaign, I'm going to approach budget allocations and optimizations across jobs differently for a client who just needs hires and doesn't care which job or area they come from, versus a client who has a high need in one specific region and needs hires from that job. So this allows us to view the performance and shift budget at the job level to meet those needs. You can also view analytics for each job, like what types of leads you're getting, which products they're coming from, how much budget have you spent on this job, all in real time. The campaign budget optimization tool automatically optimizes spend by up to 3 times the allocated value based on the performance of that job. So budget is always used in the most efficient way based on your set priorities. In the branding and creative section, you can save your brand guidelines for easy access for our graphic designers to reference. You can know in the moment which creatives we have running for your campaign, including images and videos. You can store all of your creative assets in this ad library, and all of that helps you determine when it's time for a creative refresh. And then the next one is ad previews. So here you can view all of your ad campaigns across all the platforms we're advertising in. We have a few examples here of what this one job looks like on the CDLLife job board, the mobile app, and across some programmatic platforms like ZipRecruiter and Hired CDL. If we're also running a Facebook campaign, you can view that social ad and click out with one click to see the comment threads, view, and respond to those all from the client portal. And then if we're also running a text message campaign, you can view that here, and you can also see past scripts that we've ran. And then the last one is the question and answer tool. This is an often underutilized tool that can help prospective applicants learn more about your company and also give your jobs a leg up among the competition. So we have questions ranging from compensation to equipment to new hire orientation. And within those answers, we might find that there's better calls to action that we can use in your custom direct lead campaigns that will set you apart from the next job down the road. So there's definitely a lot of great information to utilize within these features built into the portal. I encourage you all to log in, get in touch with your digital media strategist so you're taking full advantage of it. And now I'd like to introduce Molly Gibson. Molly is the Vice President of Sales Operations for CDLLife.
Thanks, Mary. Morning, everyone. Like Mary said, I'm Molly, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about our new job optimization, our new job editor, and the optimization scoring that lives within that. Before we get started, I'm kind of curious, who right now is actually using the job editor within their client portal? I can't see very good. Okay, yeah. So this has actually gotten a huge facelift. It's a huge facelift, so if you are using it now, you're going to notice that there's a lot of really big improvements that we've made in order to make this super simple for you all to create the most optimized jobs. In typical fashion, I'm going to start at step 2 because who starts at step 1, right? So step 2 is going to be where we can really start optimizing your jobs. In step 1, all you're going to be doing is selecting your driver type, job type, and route type. So there's not a whole lot to optimize there. It's pretty black and white. So in step 2, this is going to be where we input the landing page title and the description. I want to talk about the landing page title because this is kind of going to be your headline, so to speak, for the landing page. It's going to be where the driver, you're going to be trying to entice the driver to read more about your job description. So you'll notice that in this landing page title, we've got CDLA drivers get home every weekend and earn $1,900 plus per week. So we've got 2 calls to action in here that's really going to start to get the driver to want to learn more about what it is the job is offering. We display this field at the very top of the landing page, as you can see here. And then additionally in step 2, we have what's called the SEO title. A lot of times people will think, well, I've already created a title once, why am I going to create it again? Or just put in, the same title into the SEO landing page title. But what you want to do with the SEO title is this is going to be where you put more keywords in there. So you want to do local Class A truck driver jobs. You want to put yourself sort of in the driver's position and think about, if I were looking for a job, what are those keywords that I'm going to start searching in? You're not going to put in, $1,900 plus per week when you go to search for a job. You're going to put in those specific keywords. And those are going to appear on places like Google, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, any sort of search engine where the driver's going to be looking for a job. So just to kind of recap, the landing page title is going to be displayed at the top of the CDLLife landing page, and the goal is to sell the driver on the job with key highlights and aspects of the position. The SEO title is going to be appearing in the job search engines, and the goal is to describe the position to make it easy to find in a simple search. Now this section I can't emphasize enough, and I feel like we've heard this a lot this week, but really putting your best foot forward in terms of describing what it is and representing yourself as a carrier in the job description is going to be so critical to making yourself look really good in order to attract the most qualified drivers. So we've kind of identified these key job details and highlights in terms of what drivers are really looking for and what they want to see in a job description. And those things are going to be estimated range of miles, compensation type, home time, bonuses, and estimated pay. Now, another way to really utilize the job description to make your job appear really attractive is going to be using those creatives, putting the videos in there, putting, if you have a really stellar driver lounge, put pictures of that in there. Show off who you are as a carrier in the job description of your job, and you're going to be able to attract a lot more drivers that way. So here's what the actual job editor looks like. We've implemented the job creation score, so this is kind of, I look at it as sort of a game, right? So as you start putting in these additional details, these additional components, you're going to start collecting percentage points. And the goal is to get to 100%. So right now you can see in the top left corner, I think that's your left.
Right. That's right.
In the top right corner, that's what I'm told. the top right corner, you're going to see it says 61% job creation score. And so as you start adding in these details, you'll notice that that percentage starts to increase. So we've dictated, and weighted the importance of these details, and as you're adding them in, they start to get higher. And then finally, work list routing. This is going to be a really good opportunity for you if you aren't already utilizing this in your application tracking system, is to be able to maximize your lead routing strategies in order to gain more efficiencies. So if you have a recruiter who is very specialized in, say, recruiting company drivers, we can send you leads routed specifically to that recruiter based on at the job level settings. So that's another good opportunity for you to utilize that. And with that, I'll introduce Heather.
Thanks for the introduction, Molly. For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Heather Dumond. I'm the Vice President of Product here at CDLLife. And my day-to-day is sort of related to any innovation endeavor regarding our digital product lines, whether that's our mobile app, our client portal, the job builder that you just saw, and any custom sort of software implementation and website design. To kick it off, I have a few questions for you guys, and you can just raise your hand to answer. How many of you out there have ever asked a driver, how did you find us? Whether that's on a one-on-one application or interview or an online application. I have, yes. And another one, how many of you have ever invested more than $1 into finding out an answer to that question? When we think about lead generation, recruitment, getting driver butts into carrier seats, we think about common metrics, right? We think about lead to hire ratio, cost per qualified lead, cost per hire. What we don't think enough about is driver visibility. What is their first touch point with us, and what does it look like? A lot of us think of it as the first time they reach out to a recruiter, but oftentimes their journey starts far before then. It starts online. And when we start to think about, what are some things we can do without spending thousands and thousands of dollars per month, what are some things we can do today? Well, we sat down to think about what's a scalable solution to an immediate problem. And one of the immediate problems that we saw with a lot of carrier websites and landing pages is that they're just not optimized for driver traffic. About a year ago, we did an audit of 587 carrier websites. Some of them looked like this. This is just, it didn't load at all. Some of them look like this, and some of them look like this. And out of those 587 carrier websites that we reviewed, only 14% of them were optimized for driver traffic. And when we're talking about driver traffic optimization, we're talking about we want to reduce loading times. We want the applications to be easy to find. We want them to be mobile responsive. A lot of us spend a lot of time on our phone. We don't want it to be broken. We also want it to look nice, and we also want to show up. Like if they Google your company's name, you don't want to get lost. You don't want them to have to scroll to the 5th page on Google. That's just not a great experience. And it's interesting because a lot of you out there have interacted with our client services team and our sales team, both of which are incredibly fantastic. But what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is that our tech arm, that's our software development team and our in-house design team, we operate a lot like a micro incubator and a tech startup. We're constantly optimizing our own job landing pages that Molly was talking about earlier. We're constantly A/B testing them, and we're constantly learning from our own data. And as an example, we're constantly trying to improve the driver experience. About 2 weeks ago, we made a small tweak to the mobile browsing experience for the driver on our job landing pages, and it led to a 14% increase over an improvement over our previous job landing pages when it came to conversion. And in the past year, we've seen an increase in 50% qualification rate, 140% increase in owner-operator applications, and an 86% qualification rate when it comes to CDLLife products versus other vendors. And when we come back around to our conversation about driver visibility, I don't think there's any carrier out there who wants a poorly optimized landing page or a website. There's no carrier out there who says, yeah, I don't want drivers to find me. I don't want them to apply to my jobs, right? Like that's the antithesis of what we do. The problem is that the solutions out there are often very expensive, and custom website development design, data analytics and tracking, and continual optimization is expensive, and it's often unattainable for smaller to mid-sized carriers. We want to spend those dollars elsewhere, right? We want to be able to pay for hefty lead generation budgets. And the thing is, that doesn't have to be a norm in our industry. And when we thought about solutions to this problem, we wanted to make sure that optimized landing pages are not out of reach for small to mid-sized carriers. This is why we created our own landing page templates. We have 3 right now, and we're constantly making more. They look and feel fantastic, and they incorporate everything we've learned and our own experience optimizing our own job landing pages. They're also fully responsive, and to nobody's surprise, 93% of driver traffic is mobile. And after they get off the road after a long day, the last thing they want to see is a broken website link or a broken application. Unlike in the video yesterday where the guy was trying to press the broken website link and then he's like, oh, I'll just call them. Drivers won't call. They'll just leave, and that's not what we want. You're also able to edit portions of our landing pages directly from within the client portal. And also, you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. And did we mention we're constantly optimizing our templates? And because they're all linked to a unified master template, when we learn something new and we build in a new feature or a new module or a new section to one template, it kind of trickles down to all of the connected templates, including pre-implemented client landing pages. And when we sat down to think about this solution, we really just wanted to say, you can have a beautiful landing page and carrier website regardless of budget and regardless of carrier size. Thank you everyone for listening. Next up will be Matt Roland walking through our creative service offerings.
Thank you, Heather, for the introduction. I'm Matt Roland, Vice President of Sales. I appreciate you being here today on a Friday. We hope you've enjoyed our summit up to now. Today I want to talk about our Creative Services Department that's located here at our headquarters in Kansas City. The main focus of our Creative Services Department is to help trucking companies with their brand initiative, brand awareness campaigns. So I want to go through 4 different services and products that we can help when looking to help with brand awareness. So the first one is our social media management tool that we have. So how many of you have a dedicated social media manager that works just on your social media? That's their 100% job. Okay, a few, good. We see a lot of times that people wear multiple hats in this industry, and sometimes that's one of the first things that get pushed on the back burner when priorities are changed in the company. So with our social media management, we give you a dedicated social media manager. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to do a deep dive and look at your overall digital presence and platforms. From there, that gives us the ability to come up with unique strategies that we can then tailor to make sure it fits your tone and your message to your company. So once we can figure out sort of the messaging, then what we want to do is come up with a monthly calendar. And that calendar is going to allow us to have visibility and have a constant presence, and then it allows you to be top of mind with those drivers when they're in the social media platforms. And once we can figure out that part of the system, then we're going to really work on the creative. So we're going to carefully work to have a new creative that's original content that's going to be attractive to your current driver base as well as resonate with new drivers. So we're going to first understand what the priorities are. We're going to set up a calendar. Then we're going to build new creative for you. And then the third part of this process is we're going to do page moderation for you. And this is extremely important. This is where we can actually come in and aid and help assist with your driver recruitment. A lot of drivers will just come in and they're going to put their zip code in, right? And that means they're interested. Or they may ask you a question about your pet policy, or do you have a dedicated lane? And if you don't have someone that's answering that question, then you're losing out, because I can promise you your competitors are going to answer that question. So that's a very important part of the social media management. So our next, the next thing I want to talk about is really not really a service, but a product that we offer, and it's sponsored content. And for those of you that have been in advertising more than 20 years like myself, if you go back to the print days, we used to call it an advertorial. So when you bought an advertorial, it was an ad that looked editorial, but then we had to put big black bold letters around it saying advertisement. So that's really where sponsored content got its start. So what we do with sponsored content is we're going to write an article, and it's going to be crafted by our editorial team at CDLLife. We can start that from the beginning all the way through the end and do all the heavy lifting, or we can work with your team and company and co-author this piece. And this piece is going to be much more informational, not so much as an ad. So what we do is we're going to make sure that we have a good messaging and we're on brand and it's applicable to our audience. And then we're going to publish that sponsored content on our website. So it's going to be published on CDLLife.com. And just to let you know about the audience at CDLLife.com, we range between 4 and 6 million page views per month. So you're going to have a huge presence just on the publication of the article. It's going to live there indefinitely, so that allows it to be searchable, and that helps you with your organic traffic after the publication. So after we do that, then we're also going to take that sponsored content and we're going to share that out onto our Facebook platforms. So we've got over 2.6 million followers on Facebook. So your sponsored content is going to be seen on our Facebook. We're also going to share that on our mobile app. So if you don't have our mobile app, it's CDLLife. If you would, please download it. It's a community-based mobile app. It's a lot like a Facebook, if you will, for drivers. So your sponsored content will show up there. And then it goes out to our newsletter. So we have a daily newsletter that can reach up to 469,000 drivers that subscribe. So with sponsored content, you're going to be in 4 different places: our website, our Facebook, our mobile app, and our newsletter. The next service or product I'd like to talk to you about is our email marketing. Now, I would imagine a lot of you are already doing some type of email marketing. That might be through your own internal database that you're using. Many ATSs offer services. You may have a drip campaign. So anything that you're currently doing with email marketing, our email marketing is just going to enhance that. What we will do is we'll build a branded custom email that we can send out to up to 365,000 drivers that we have in our database. And with that, we can do a lot of targeting. So we can send that out first we can make sure that geographically they're in the right area, how many years of experience they have with driving, make sure it fits your hiring criteria. So it's just not a blanket email going out, it's very targeted. And the one thing I love about the email marketing campaigns is it's a blank canvas and it's a large canvas. So you can do a lot with an email marketing campaign. It can be brand related. You can also have a lead generation opportunity there. You can have a testimonial that goes in there. We can drive traffic back to your landing pages. We can help enlarge your internal database so you can do more of your own email marketing. So there's a lot of opportunity there with the email marketing. And then the last service and product that we use a lot when we're working with companies for branding is our ad delivery network. So this is our opportunity to help you with our display advertising. And I'm just curious, does anybody have a dedicated budget that's just to display advertising? Okay, absolutely. And we're seeing more and more of that. So display advertising can do a lot for you, right? So it absolutely can help increase your brand awareness. If you're an OEM, it can boost your sales. And it can also help you with your lead generation. So what we've done at CDLLife is we've taken 3 of our largest platforms and combined those into a network. So when you do a display campaign with us, it's of course going to show up on our website, like I mentioned, that we have the 4 to 6 million page views. It's also going to go out to our mobile app, and it goes out to our daily newsletter. So it's a really large network that allows you to be out in front of our audience. And just to kind of give you an idea about our statistics and who comes to our website, a little surprising, but 28% are females, 71% are males. Our average age, 18 to 54, 71% are 18 to 54. So that's the sweet spot for this industry. That's what we want to reach out and see as far as drivers. Location, right? So 93% of our audience is located in the United States, 3's in Canada, 3 outside of Canada or the United States. So we have the location, we have the right age group. So I think display advertising is a great opportunity. As far as, and to back up what Heather was saying, with our audience, 90% are mobile. So 90% of our audience comes in through a mobile device, and then the other 5% is desktop and a tablet. So you want to make sure that your display ads are, are made to be mobile friendly. So just to kind of recap with any type of branding initiatives that you may have, we would love to help you. So we can help manage any of your platforms. We can do the sponsored content for you. We can do the ad delivery network and have a nice display campaign. And we also can help you with your email marketing. With that, I'd like to introduce you to my coworker, Jacob Ridge.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacob. I am the Senior Onboarding Strategist. My primary responsibility is assessing new clients' needs, kind of figuring out what they're looking for, and educating them on our products and services, and finding a campaign strategy that works for them. So you decided you probably need to start spending some money to get leads because you need to make hires. And hopefully you understand and your vendor understands that that's a little bit more than just I give you money, you give me leads. It's not just putting money into a lead machine. You're going to have to kind of develop a campaign. You're going to have a strategy. That strategy is going to have to change and adjust over time. So these are a couple of things to consider. You're going to need to communicate those needs to us, your team. You're going to need to kind of establish priorities, set some clear goals. And we're going to discuss two little tips here, page moderation and Facebook page access and what that means. So communicating your needs, this is what I spend most of my time trying to assist my clients with. Both kind of understanding their needs, getting them to verbalize it, because it's one thing to have a need, it's another thing to kind of put it into words and put it into paper and to actually know what that is. You're going to have some things that are kind of obvious. You've got specific jobs. You've got lanes that you need drivers in. You know the accounts that you need drivers in. You know what types of drivers you need. You need leads. You need hires. And something maybe not a lot of people think about, but you have your own team. You have kind of a workflow that works for you guys. We're kind of a part of that now. We are supplying you with the leads. We're partners with you and your recruiters. We want to be able to be a part of your workflow, and that's going to look different for everybody. Everybody's team is different, their size is different, how they do business is different, their personalities are different. So we want to be able to kind of speak to that. We want to be able to develop a strategy that actually really works for you, not just by the numbers, but also for the people who are actually doing the work. And something that kind of speaks to that is the types of leads we're giving you. Not every lead is created the same. They come from different places, which means each driver has had a different experience with you before they even talk to you. So where they saw your ad, their experience with clicking that application, your website, the app, how it came to you, the time between them sending the app and hearing a call from you or getting that first email. Their experience is different. So one primary way of looking at that is high volume leads or high intent leads, right? Maybe you guys are familiar with the concept of a matched lead versus direct lead. Matched lead platforms usually are pretty affordable, pretty cheap, and get a lot of leads. But that experience is dramatically different. Those drivers don't have a whole lot of touch points with you. They don't really know you that much. So when you're talking to them, you're coming in kind of fresh, and you're going to have a very different approach. Versus high intent leads. So high intent leads are obviously people who have come to you from a direct lead. They're usually a little bit more familiar with you in your offering, your branding. Maybe there's even a name thrown in there somewhere. They know they applied to you, so maybe they went and they Googled you, so they've kind of done a little bit of their research. So that's going to be a very different experience for the driver. It's a different lead. It's going to be a very different experience for you and your team. So that's just an example. So with that in mind, we're going to have to kind of assess your needs are. You've got a budget. We need to probably find out what your priorities are. You can't really do everything at once. Well, you might try, but we're going to set some priorities regardless. So that needs to be communicated to your team, to us. So one classic way that this is presented is in the form of your jobs. So you need drivers in these areas. That looks like a job posting. So you post the job in various places. We'll post that for you. Some are going to be more important than others, and that's going to change over time. It might change day by day. It might change week by week. Maybe it doesn't change that often. Maybe you only really hire in one area, and that's just what you're always doing. You're going to need to probably keep in mind, though, that you want that to be up to date all the time, because it's not going to be something you can just set it and let it and forget it. Anytime anything new happens at your company, even just a culture change, new equipment, that might seem hard to kind of put into paper what that means, a culture change. If you have a different team, different recruiters, their voice is going to be different. How they approach the driver is going to be different. It might be wise to say, okay, well, maybe I want to present this information in a job posting a little bit different, because I'm not the same person who did this job posting 6 months ago. Just things to consider. And maybe you don't know how to do that, but you'll talk with us, and we'll kind of get a feel for you and how you're presenting the job, and then we'll help you kind of formulate that. And you'll kind of have to schedule routine calls with us and give us feedback on what your experience has been with the leads that have been coming to you in response to your postings. And there'll be some gaps. Drivers will have the same questions over and over again. Or maybe there'll be something that you find, hey, man, we're talking about pay. We're talking about home time. This is great, dedicated opportunity, all those great things. But maybe the real thing is the pet policy, is that all these drivers, they just want to work for you because you got a great pet policy. And it's like, well, maybe that's not that big of a deal, but if that's the reason everyone's coming to you, maybe we need to emphasize that more. And those are things that you'll find out by talking to us and saying, hey, this is where I'm getting my hires. The people who I'm actually hiring are coming, well, you'll tell us who those people are, and then I'll say, okay, well, those people came from this source. Those are people who came from this page here talking about your pet policy. The people you're hiring are people who are responding to that ad, to that job posting. So we only find that information out. You only really get that valuable data if we're continually talking and kind of assessing, your needs and how the process is going for you. There's another way you can kind of stay in tune with that, which is comment moderation. It would be interesting. Who here has actually done comment moderation before?
A few hands.
A couple of you. It's the Wild West out there, man. There's a wide range of things people are talking about. We'll do some basic stuff for you. We will, take out the bad stuff. We'll answer some of the basic questions. But at the end of the day, we're not you. And I think maybe a lot of you realize that your relationship with the driver is going to be the real difference maker. And as much as we'll kind of service and kind of do basic cleanup, answer basic questions, represent you as best as we can, it's important to understand that the real difference maker in comment moderation is going to be you guys getting involved with that and actually trying to talk to drivers on there. We have a way of helping you do that. Now, we publish ads to our audience, generally as CDLLife representing you guys, but we have the option to publish ads as you. We can, if you give us publisher access on Facebook, we can publish the ads as you and to our audience. And what will happen is you'll get extra brand exposure. That's great. The ad is being delivered to them, and it's like, well, this is Carrier talking to me. This isn't just CDLLife. And they'll be more inclined probably to actually conversate. Maybe they'll ask more personable questions. If you give us access, you'll kind of get alerts on whoever's doing your comment moderation on your Facebook app or on your dashboard, and you can kind of live respond to these people. But this can only really happen if you give us access to publish on your behalf, and then all that traffic will go straight to you guys. You can stay on top of it, and that can be really valuable because, like I said before, it all comes down to the relationship. The relationship with us to be able to kind of set the tone and make sure the information is accurate and really speaks to you guys. And then that will help you guys have a relationship with the driver audience, and that will be really valuable. Questions? Is it possible to get a full client portal demo for my company? Well, yes, it is. Honestly, if you ever have any questions about the client portal, it's a safe space. You can always just reach out to us, and we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I would love to sit down with you and let's talk about your question with the client portal. but anything else you have, any other questions you have. It's a great place to get comfortable with our products and services, understand what we're doing for you because there's so much transparency on there. But I love taking the time to sit down and walk through your portal with you because it usually opens up a bunch of other questions, which I'm loving because then I'm like, sweet, we can talk about more details. Yeah, so just reach out to anybody, anytime, and we'll make it work. We definitely want to talk to you about the client portal.
And for those of you who are existing clients as well and may frequently use our client portal, it's never wrong time to ask for another review or another walkthrough because we're always adding new features. And there's so much hidden functionality that sometimes people just don't stumble on by themselves. And we're constantly working to improve it every day. So it's always worth a refresher as well if you're an existing client.
Yes, I want to foster as much curiosity as possible, so please poke around in there and give us a shout. If we use an agency, can we have access to the customer portal? Yes. I mean, we'll give you access. Any other comments on that? No problem. No problem.
That's pretty straightforward.
Are you able to establish multiple priority levels for specific priority lanes? Can priority be changed at any time, or are budgets set for the month? Yeah, I mean, you can change priority levels at any time. Yes, and they're not set. Everything we do is very, very flexible. You have the ability to go into the portal and do it yourself, and what it'll do is it's just like numbers. I think you showed a screenshot of it earlier, didn't you?
Yes, so
Yeah.
you can change the allocations, you can change the priority levels. We have urgent, standard,
Medium, high.
high, urgent, high, standard, and non-funded. So you can just have jobs up there organically as well.
And you can also like set percentage of your budget. So
Yes.
I want 10% of this budget to
Yes.
go to this job, 5% to go to this job, and so and so.
And you can see what that translates to dollar-wise.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're free to go in there and move that around. How often should I connect with my DMS to strategize? As much as you need.
Every day.
As much as you need.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, my concern is usually I don't feel like I'm communicating enough. I will get enough time to sit down with you and really kind of assess what your needs and priorities are. So, I mean, do your needs change daily? It's hard to believe, but they may, and maybe we need to talk about that daily. As much as you need, really. I would actually say the concern is, like I was going to say, I guess, is people don't talk enough. And I would say at least once a month, I would hope. That would be my hope.
At a minimum, yeah.
Yeah, at a minimum. Are you able to access your archive leads through the portal? Yeah, in fact, we would never even conceptualize it as an archived lead. All leads that you get through CDLLife are yours in perpetuity through the client portal. So even if you haven't done business with us for 2 years, you still have access to your client portal, and all your data is in there, all your leads are in there. So nothing's archived, no. Does the portal work with an ATS?
Can you define that question a little bit more?
Well, so we are integrated with a lot of ATS systems, and we send leads to the ATS. This doesn't really affect that process. This is more kind of like a secondary tool to where then we'll also store the lead in our own portal. So it kind of works separate from the ATS. The only real crossover, I guess you could say, is that you do have the option to manage your ATS settings in the portal. But what you do in the portal shouldn't really affect what you've got set up through your ATS system. What is the pricing for social media content plans?
We probably would want to sit down and kind of go through your expectations and what you're needing to do, and we can do a custom quote for you. So we do have some set prices, but I would prefer to sit down and kind of figure out what you're looking for and how we can help one another, and then we could come up with the price.
Yeah, it's true because everyone's got like different needs, and it's such a wide range of how much you can invest time and energy-wise into social media.
Yeah. How many platforms you're
Yeah.
on, et cetera.
I wouldn't want to set a floor or a ceiling for you in that way, I don't think.